Hello, this is Chapter 3, video number 1. This video is going to talk about measures of central tendency. So these are the ones that you have probably learned in grade school. We have mean, median, and mode. We're going to real quick review these, and then we're also going to extend this to talk about what effect do outliers have on each of these. So I took a sample of 10 students, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 separate students and asked them, how many hours did you sleep last night? So looking at this, we have uh, 10 different data points, and we need to figure out, okay, well, how can we describe this to others? If I wanted to say, how much do students sleep at night? We can go ahead and summarize this. So the most common one is mean, and some people just call this the average, but technically all of these are averages, measures of central tendencies. But whenever you see average in the news, most often they are talking about the mean. So to calculate the mean, what you're going to do is you're going to sum all of the data points, and you're going to divide by n, how many total you had. So I am going to strongly recommend that you use this graphing calculator. This is called Desmos.com. It is free. It actually has an app on your phone as well. But this is the graphing calculator that we're going to use through this course. It is desmos.com/calculator. So what I could do is I can go ahead and add these all up. 6 plus 8 plus 9 plus 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 10. All right, so we have 78. And then finally divide by how many total we had, divide by 10. And sure enough, we get that the average amount of sleep or the mean amount of sleep is 7.8 hours. All right, so that is, in this case, our mean amount of sleep is 7.8 hours. All right, now median. In order to calculate the median, what you need to do is you need to make sure that these are in order. So you have to place these in order. And the median is the middle number. And the median is the middle number. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in order. 6 is my lowest. It looks like I have 2 6s. 7, I've got 2 7s. 8, I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 8s. And then finally I have 1, 2, 9, 9, 2 9s, and 1 10. And before you start calculating anything, make sure that these are in the correct order and that you didn't miss any. So middle is where we are going to try to find the middle number. So if you are somebody who would like to cross them off as you go, here's take 1 off of each side, take 1 off of each side, keep going. I know this is kind of silly, but here we go. And sure enough, we actually have 2 in the middle here. Now, in this problem, it's not too big of a deal because they are the same number. However, if these were 2 separate numbers, well, you would just find, hey, what's in the middle? You would take the mean of them, add them together, divide by 2. So theoretically, if this were, let's say, another 7, this would be 7 plus 8. What's halfway between 7 and 8? 7.5. But it wasn't. It was an 8. So our median here is 8. And finally, mode, most common. What is the most common number that we could have in this data set? Well, our most common here is, it looks like 8 hours of sleep. Our most common is 8 hours of sleep. All right, so mode is simply your most common. It is possible to have more than one mode. It is possible to have one mode. So let's say that we were to have another 9 in here, then we would have 2 modes. It would be bimodal, just like we talked about last week. Now I want to talk about something real quick that can probably save you some time. Desmos does have the ability to calculate these things for you. So looking at this, we have the mean. If you wanted to calculate the mean and you didn't want to do what we did previously, you can actually say, hey, I would like to find the mean of these numbers. And if you simply type these in and separate these by commas, this will do all of the programming for you. You will get the exact same calculation, 7.8. And to calculate the median, Median. 8. Let's see if it does mode. Nope. It does not do mode, but it's not that hard to figure out your mode. So as a time saver, if you're a little worried about adding things up and dividing or putting things in order, feel free to use that programming tool. All right, one final issue. I want to talk about something. I want to talk about what it would happen if we were to throw in an outlier. Let's say that I got a student in my class. I got a student in my class, and they did not get any sleep. They pulled an all-nighter. They have a 0. We have some kid that slept 0 hours last night. Now I want to talk about which of these have changed. Which have changed? So if I were to throw in a 0, well, my mean has gone down. My new mean with the outlier is all the way down at 7.0. What was that? 7.09? That dragged the mean down almost by an entire hour of sleep. Uh, Now, let's take a look at what it does to our median. Median is still 8. So let's talk about what outliers do. Outliers, our middle value is still going to be pretty much where we wanted it to be, pretty much the exact same place. Even if it were a 7 and 8 in the middle, and if it were to go down just by a tiny bit, it didn't go down by as much as it did with the mean. Same thing in the other direction. Let's say that we have one kid. Let's say that we had one kid that just went home from school and went to bed immediately and got 16 hours of sleep. Well, the exact same thing is going to happen except in the other direction. So instead of a 0, if we were to have a 16, wow, that brought that mean all the way up to 8.5 hours, 8.5 hours of sleep. So here's the deal. Outliers can drag the mean one direction or the other. So outliers affect the mean, but not the median. All right, so let's say that we have an outlier in this direction. This is the kid that slept 0 hours. The mean is being pulled in this direction. Your mean is being pulled, but your median stays for the most part the exact same. Same thing if we were skewed to the right. This is the kid that slept for 16 hours. This mean is going to be pulled to the right. All right, so real quick review. Here's what you got. Measures of central tendency, we have mean, median, and mode. We talked about how to calculate each of those. And then finally, we also discussed, okay, so what happens with an outlier? And outliers affect the mean, but not the median. The median is resistant to any outliers.